Today we have something a bit special for you. An older car. A much older car, in fact. This is the Corvette C3 from 1978. Well, the C3 was actually started in 1968, before man ever stepped on the surface of the moon. And while we're talking about the surface of the moon and the astronauts from Apollo 12 drove the C3, and their cars were clad in a golden black combination. But now you're probably thinking, stop talking already, show us the engine. What kind of an engine does it have? Well, Corvettes always had a rather large engine. There's a 5-liter V8, 7-liter, 7.4 liter. Well, this one has the 5-liter V8, 8 cylinders, for all those enthusiasts of us that love the sound of a proper V8 engine. You might have noticed that while some of the parts on this engine have already been replaced or refurbished, like this lovely cover for the air filter, which looks really retro and cool, some of the parts, like this part of the air intake, are still missing. Or, for example, who needs a motor for the wipers? You don't need wipers. But yeah, a little bit of work will still need to be done on this car. But yeah, you're right. Enough babbling. Let's actually go and drive this car. When you sit into a car like this, you're actually sitting into a time machine. You're going back into the 70s. Now just imagine yourself in 1978 USA driving this Corvette on some coastal road in California. With a car like this, you were the most important, the most noticed person in traffic, and probably the most popular as the car attracted stares even then. Only few can say they have such a long front end, like some Rolls Royces or Jaguars. But it makes the car so special on our roads, and let's not forget just how mean it looks. At the time, American cars were often very square-shaped. The C3, however, was made rather interesting. The Corvette appeared in numerous films and series, and why not? Just look at it. Two large exhausts will make the big V8 sound great. The interior is definitely from the 70s. Plastics and straight edges, even though there's a surprising amount of soft materials. The seats are comfy despite lacking side support. The 70s, man! The 70s were groovy, far out, man. Everybody was high. Including the astronauts, they were really high, man. Groovy. And this car, it's perfect. You'd think that for such an old car, everything would go wrong. But no, look at my instruments. The instrument cluster for the water temperature, oil pressure, the battery, my fuel, everything works. It's perfect. Apart from the tachometer, which I'm driving really slowly and it's showing me I'm doing about 4,000 RPM. Sometimes it goes over 7,000, which is the end of the scale. No. But apart from that, it's perfect. Okay, the lights don't really go up and down on their own. You have to do it manually, by hand, and they stick. But yeah, apart from that, perfect C3. Okay, the tire was flat today, so we had to repair that. And the doors, these doors they're angled a little bit strangely, so that will need to be fixed as well. Also, the steering wheel is so loose you could probably drive through an American movie easily. But apart from that, perfect. Okay, it does wobble a little bit, and the engine will need overhauling, and it does leak several fluids, but really, apart from that, it's a very, very good buy. I recommend it. Oh well, these old cars can be quite the money drain, so be careful if you decide to buy one. It's true though, you can then drive a sweet sounding stallion like this. That is, if you haven't spent all the money and now lack fuel. The consumption is V8 consumption. For us, it's ridiculous. Although the car lacks a trip computer, we probably experienced around 20 liters per 100 kilometers. The price? Hard to say. Depends on the condition of the car, what year it is, what kind of an engine it has. You can find anything from a few thousands to 100,000 euros and more. If you decide to become an astronaut, though, maybe they'll gift you one.